Hello students, today will we discuss about the age of Elizabeth, the Renaissance. Renaissance का मीन्स होता है पुनर्जागरण. The term Renaissance seems to have been first used by the French historian Julius Michelet in his History de France, published in 1855. It was immediately taken up by other scholars, and while all have recognized its general value as description of unique historical era, none have really been able to define. The debate over the meaning continues to this day. It has been described as the birth of the world and the discovery of man. It is the era of untrammeled individualism in life, thought, religion, and art. Recently, some historians finding that these attributes were present in various people and places in the Middle Ages, and also that many elements long held to be medieval survived into the Renaissance have denied that the Renaissance ever existed. The supposedly settled notions of the medieval world were at no time exempt from challenge, and new visits of human potential were constantly being opened to view. The historians often speak of Renaissance rather than a Renaissance. Marlowe is known as a poet of the English Renaissance, a period which for historical convenience we may regard as having begun with the accession of King Henry VII to English throne in 1485 during his reign, and then of his son King Henry VIII. Arts and learning hindered from growth during the long years of the Wars of the Roses became for the first time an important royal concern in the reign of his granddaughter Queen Elizabeth I. English poetry and drama reached what may have been the highest peak of excellence they have ever attained. It is difficult to say just when the English Renaissance came to a close. Some may argue that it has never ended and that it is alive today. We may work its fading with the death of King James I in 1625. Although John Milton, who was then only 17 years old, was still to be very much a poet of the Renaissance. But why 1625, the greatest literary achievements of the English Renaissance had been written, distinctive attitudes which we associate with the age of Elizabeth were being challenged by new ones, often beyond the conceptions of Shakespeare. The modern monks had come into being. The English Renaissance began with the accession of English King Henry VII to the English throne in 1485. But as a movement affecting the lives of the Europeans. It began in Italy almost 2 centuries earlier, and the two most famous names associated with its beginning are Petrarch and Boccaccio. From Italy, the movement spread through Germany, Spain, France, and Netherlands and England. Next are factors responsible for the coming of the Renaissance in England. The most significant event which marks the dawn of the Renaissance in England is the European invention of printing by movable types. The handcrafted manuscript was replaced by the mass-produced books, and the result was the appearance of a large reading public. In this way, too, the Renaissance was stimulated by the revival of learning and diffused by the art of printing. The growing interest in the classical learning, the growth of trade and commerce with the far-off countries, and the rush for gold, a series of extensive voyages and explorations by the Dutch, the Spanish, the French, and the English, the growing interest in the affairs of day-to-day life, rise of nationalism, and new spirit of individualism were the chief features produced by the new spirit of the Renaissance. The English great explorers, as they went to the West Indies and down the coast of South America and returned with their ships loaded with bars of silver and gold, heaps of pearls, sapphires, opals, and grass, green emeralds, shining skills, and fragrant spices. But which not only encrusted the clothes of the novice but found it way with barbaric profusion with which Othello won the heart of Desdemona. Next, effective on literature. The many-sided intellectual activities of the Renaissance were fully reflected in the literature of the 16th and 17th century. Malice Montgomery, Arthur Erasmus' Praise of Folly, and Sir Thomas More's Utopia were largely responsible for heralding the dawn. The Renaissance in the England which attained its maturity, Elizabeth, these three prose writers sang in praise of the Renaissance and harnessed their pens and driving away vice, ignorance, and superstitions. The threefold of humanity, morally, utopia was a true prologue to the Renaissance. The dramas of the university wit bubble with the spirit of the Renaissance. John Lyly's Orpheus and Greene's short novels, based on Italian short stories, were popular among the leisure reading public of the day. Among the university wits, Marlowe has been called the true child of the Renaissance. In his four plays, Tamburlaine the Great, Dr. Faustus, The Jew of Malta, and Edward II, we notice a full-blooded expression of the entire age, with its Lovecraftian new aspirations, hopes, and dashing adventure. His plays are the epitome of what the Renaissance people felt and lived, the pleasure of the earth which the men of the Renaissance held there are given full expression in Tamburlaine the Great. The love of wealth is expressed in the Jew of Malta, love for power and pleasure, a desire for infinite knowledge and glorification of beauty are expressed in Dr. Faustus. The defiant tone of the Renaissance adventure is heard in the speech of young Mortimer in Edward II. For the latter, Elizabethan dramatist legitimate unshackled license. This was held in check by Ben Jonson for some time, but after him, the stage became a playground for melodramatic horrors and appealed to higher The court note the public, the successor of Ben Jonson, lacked not only broad charity and moral insight, but wrote tragedies of blood and terror and produced evil and licentious scenes, with the result that in 1642 both the houses of Parliament voted to close the theatres as breeders of immortality. They introduced the vogue of sonnet writing and blank verse poetry in England. The Renaissance spirit had its full play in the hands of Spenser. He has been recognized as the touchstone of English poetic sensibility. In Spenser, we have fine expression of Renaissance ideal of adventure and active life, which expressed in Fairy Queen. The novel had that harbors virtuous thoughts and is with child of glorious great intent, can never rest until it forth have wrought the internal road of glory excellent. A good is not so glorious as a king. I think the pleasure they enjoy in heaven cannot compare with kingly joy on earth. What Mortimer on regard stony walls, immure the virtue that aspires to heaven. Okay, thank you for watching.